For most people today, the name Gaza City stirs images of conflict, news headlines, and human struggle. But Gaza is much more than the story of modern war. It is one of the world's oldest cities. Gaza has stood for over 5,000 years, a city of crossroads, where civilizations met, where empires clashed, and where cultures intertwined. Gaza City sits on the Mediterranean coast, just north of the Sinai Peninsula, at the southern edge of the Levant. Its location is not accidental. It lies along the Via Maris, the Way of the Sea, one of the most important trade routes of the ancient world. This highway connected Egypt with Mesopotamia, carrying caravans and armies and pilgrims for thousands of years. To control Gaza was to control this gateway between Africa and Asia. Its fertile lands produced olives and wheat and grapes, while its port connected it to distant markets. The city was never isolated. Instead, it was a hub, always desired, always fought over. This geography explains why Gaza has been destroyed and rebuilt countless times. Empires did not just stumble upon it, they sought it deliberately. And that constant competition created a city shaped as much by resilience as by prosperity. The earliest mention of Gaza appears in Egyptian records over 3,000 years ago. By the 12th century BCE, Gaza was one of the 5 Philistine city-states, along with Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. Together, they formed a powerful coastal confederation. The Philistines were remembered as rivals of the Israelites in the Hebrew Bible. Gaza, in particular, became infamous in one story, the tale of Samson. According to the Book of Judges, Samson was captured in Gaza, blinded and chained. But in a final act of defiance, he pulled down the pillars of a Philistine temple, killing himself and his captors. Whether legend or history, the story cemented Gaza's place in biblical memory as a city of defiance. But Gaza was not only about conflict. Archaeology shows it was a thriving trade center, dealing in goods like olive oil, wine, and luxury items from Egypt and the Near East. The Philistines, often portrayed as invaders, were also skilled craftspeople and traders. Gaza's position made it indispensable. In 332 BCE, Gaza resisted Alexander the Great for months before finally falling after a brutal siege. Its stubbornness earned it fame across the Hellenistic world. Under Greek influence, Gaza was rebuilt and became a bustling trade city connecting the Mediterranean with Arabia. By the Roman era, Gaza reached new heights. Roman writers described it as a thriving metropolis, filled with temples, markets, and theaters. It became famous for its vineyards and olive groves, exporting wine across the empire. The historian Josephus described Gaza as one of the most important cities of Judea, and Roman geographers noted its strategic position on the road between Egypt and Syria. Gaza was not only an economic hub, but also a cultural one. Pagan temples, schools of philosophy, and later Christian communities flourished there. By the 4th century, Gaza had become a battleground not of armies, but of ideas, as Christianity spread and eventually replaced the old gods. With the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire, Gaza transformed again. Pagan temples were destroyed or converted into churches, and the city became a center of Christian learning. Monasteries sprang up in the surrounding desert, attracting pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. But in the 7th century, everything changed once more. Muslim armies swept through the region, and Gaza became one of the first cities to fall under Islamic rule. For Islam, Gaza held special significance. In 767 CE, Imam al-Shafi'i, one of the four great Sunni jurists, was born there. His legacy as a founder of Islamic law made Gaza a city of enduring religious importance. Under early Islamic dynasties, Gaza prospered as a commercial and intellectual hub. Caravan routes linked it to Damascus and Cairo, while its markets offered goods from across the Muslim world. Its mosques and madrasas became centers of scholarship. Gaza was no longer just a strategic outpost, it was now a spiritual center in its own right. In the 12th century, Gaza became a prize for the Crusaders. They recognized its importance in controlling access to Egypt. The Crusaders built castles and fortifications, turning Gaza into a military stronghold. But the city frequently changed hands, falling to Saladin and returning to Muslim control. Later, under the Mamluks and then the Ottoman Empire, Gaza settled into a quieter but still significant role. It became a provincial hub, with mosques, caravanserais, and bustling markets. Travelers in the 16th and 17th centuries described Gaza as a lively town, with fertile orchards and vineyards. While it never regained the grandeur of Roman times, it remained a crossroads of cultures where Arabs, Turks, and Europeans mingled. The 20th century brought seismic change. In World War I, British forces captured Gaza from the Ottomans after 3 fierce battles. Under the British Mandate of Palestine, Gaza grew in population, but also became a flashpoint in the growing conflict between Arabs and Jews. After the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, Gaza came under Egyptian administration. Refugees from across Palestine flooded into Gaza City, doubling and tripling its population. The once small city became a crowded urban center, with neighborhoods overflowing with families displaced from their ancestral homes. Today, Gaza City is the largest urban center in the Gaza Strip, home to roughly 700,000 people out of the Strip's 2.2 million residents. It is the political, cultural, and economic heart of Gaza, though life here is shaped by extraordinary challenges. Since 2007, Gaza has been governed internally by Hamas after it took control from the Palestinian Authority. While the Palestinian Authority still claims formal political representation for Palestinians internationally, Hamas exercises local rule within Gaza, overseeing administration, policing, and social services. The city, like the rest of the Strip, is also affected by a land, air, and sea blockade imposed by Israel and supported by Egypt, which restricts movement of people and goods. This has had enormous effects on daily life, the economy, and infrastructure. Despite hardships, Gaza City remains vibrant. It is home to several universities, including the Islamic University of Gaza and Al-Azhar University, which educates of thousands of students. The city has historic mosques, churches, traditional markets like the Al-Zawiya market, and a coastal promenade along the Mediterranean. Electricity shortages, limited access to clean water, high unemployment, among the highest in the world, shape the lives of residents. Yet amid these difficulties, the people of Gaza City continue to build, study, create art, and celebrate weddings and festivals for Palestinians. Gaza City is not only their largest city, but also a symbol of endurance, representing both the suffering of blockade and conflict and the determination to preserve identity, culture, and daily life against all odds. So, what is Gaza City? It is not just a headline, nor only a battlefield. It is one of the world's oldest cities. For thousands of years, Gaza was a prize of empires. Today, Gaza City stands at the center of political struggle. In many ways, the story of Gaza has not changed. It is still contested, still resilient, still at the heart of global debates about land, faith, and identity. If you found this history of Gaza City meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe for more explorations of the world's most fascinating and complex places.